Well, good Sunday evening, everybody. Meteorologist Hunter Forrest here. Welcome to Hurricane Hub Live. We have a major hurricane that we are tracking in the Caribbean Sea. That is Major Hurricane Melissa, which is about 115 miles to the south of the island of Jamaica, which is likely to make landfall on the western area of the island as we head into late Monday night and early Tuesday morning. Take a look at this monster storm. It's a Category 4 right now, winds of 145 miles an hour. It is just a classic textbook looking major hurricane. You see the very well-defined eye here. If you were looking up at it from the sky, you would see right down through the eye into the waters, into the Caribbean Sea. It is just a very well-organized storm. From the very warm waters, it's over mid to upper 80s, and also that wind shear started to lighten up. So if we take a look at the tropical satellite over the last 36 hours, we could really see this storm getting its act together. It's getting much more organized through the day on Saturday, and then by the time we get into Sunday, and then it takes off. It rapidly intensifies. So again, right now it's about 115 miles to the south of the island of Jamaica this evening. And let's take a look at the last 33 hours of the wind speeds. Yesterday morning at Saturday at 11 o'clock, it was a tropical storm. Winds were at 70 miles an hour, and then it quickly, rapidly intensified to a hurricane and then a major hurricane. And then by the time we got into Sunday morning, this morning, winds were up to 140 miles an hour. That's a 70 mile per hour wind increase within 24 hours. And for a hurricane to be classified as one that rapidly intensifies, you have to increase your wind speeds by at least 35 miles an hour within 24 hours. This doubled that. This went up 70 miles per hour within 1 day from the warm waters and that wind shear lifting away. So unfortunately, it grew very, very strong over the last day. Now is sitting at Category 4 strength and could eventually become a Category 5 later tonight or into the day tomorrow. The National Hurricane Center saying we could be seeing a Category 5 by tomorrow afternoon with winds of 160 miles an hour and could make landfall in Jamaica late Monday into Tuesday as a Category 5. If that was the case, it would be the strongest hurricane to ever make landfall in the island. So just a very devastating, scary next couple of days for Jamaica. Eventually, it moves off the island heading into late Tuesday morning into the early afternoon, makes another landfall in eastern Cuba heading into early Wednesday morning as a major hurricane, a Category 3 with winds up to about 120 miles an hour, and then continues to push off towards the north and the east, affecting the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos as well, possibly as a Category 2 with max sustained winds of 105 miles an hour, and then finally pushes out to sea late Thursday into Friday, and then it is out of here, and we won't have to worry about Melissa anymore, but we'll have to continue worrying about the after effects from this storm. Tropical alerts out there right now. We are seeing hurricane warnings for Jamaica, of course, and now we have hurricane warnings up for Cuba, tropical storm warnings up for southern portions of Haiti as well, along with a hurricane watch. Here's a look at the Futurecast. We're going to start to see those heavier rain bands pushing into Jamaica heading into tomorrow morning, so on Monday, and we'll continue to see those heavier downpours coming down throughout the day, and then it will just stay there. It's not going to be those on and off showers, but by the afternoon, it'll be more consistent heavy rain, and we'll start to see those winds starting to uptick throughout the day on Monday, especially Monday night into Tuesday as it makes landfall. Still heavy rain here heading into Monday evening, indicated in those dark reds, those purples. That's super heavy rain, 3-4 inches an hour, and it's coming down on a very mountainous region, and that could lead to some landslides as well. By the time we get to late Monday, we're starting to see the eye approaching the western portion of the island, still seeing very heavy rain, winds are picking up, and then we could see landfall around 5-6 o'clock in the morning. This is a little bit later than what the models were saying yesterday, but of course those shift and change as the storm continues to progress. But right now, it's looking like late morning is when we could see that eye coming ashore. That's going to bring the heaviest of rain. It's going to bring the strongest winds if you're in that eye wall, especially on the right side or the east side of the eye. You'll be seeing the strongest of winds. And then it pushes over towards the north and the east, getting off the island, heading into around 9-10 o'clock tomorrow or Tuesday morning. And then the rain starts to lighten up a bit by early afternoon, but we'll still see some lingering showers as we head into our Tuesday evening. Here's a look at the Futurecast wind gusts as we head into the next couple of days. So this evening, gusts anywhere from 30 to 40 miles an hour, especially closer to the coast. And then we start to see those going up heading into Monday morning. In Savannah, around 46 mile an hour gusts, 52 in Mandeville, 41 in Maypen, Ocho Rio, around 30 miles an hour. And then continuing to be around that 30 to 50 mile per hour range heading into Monday afternoon through Monday evening. And then they really start to go up by around midnight. Tuesday, gusts along the coast, 50 to close to 70 miles an hour, a little bit less off towards the north. And then here we are around 3 o'clock in the morning as that eye starts to approach the island. We're seeing the strongest of winds around Black River, Savannah, Mandeville, Kingston, gusts around 50 miles an hour around 3 o'clock in the morning. This is Tuesday, 36 in Discovery Bay. And then look at this, around 4:30 in the morning, we're seeing very strong winds, destructive winds around Black River, 124 mile per hour gusts, 92 in Savannah, close to 80 in Mandeville, 70 in Montego Bay, and they continue to go up for most of the island. We're going to see gusts 80 to 100, close to 130 miles an hour. Now, we could see gusts even higher than this. Just because you're not seeing gusts, 150, 60, 70 miles an hour doesn't mean some people won't see that. It's just going to be a smaller amount of people that will see those highest gusts because the strongest of winds are concentrated in a small part of the hurricane, in the eye wall. So if you're closest to the eye wall, that's where you're going to be seeing those strongest winds. It's not going to be the whole island that will be seeing Category 4 or 5 hurricane wind speeds. So again, 6 o'clock Tuesday morning, up to over 100 miles an hour in Black River, close to 130, 96 in Cambridge, 84 in Montego Bay, 62 in Kingston. Albertown by 7:30 in the morning, up to 120 mile per hour gusts, 81 in Discovery Bay, 63 in Kingston, and we stay in the 100+ mile per hour wind gusts for a couple of hours, especially for the west side of the island. And then we see those stronger winds pushing to the north central part of the island, Discovery Bay, Ocho Rio, between 90 and 100 mile per hour wind gusts, still up to 90 in Mandeville, 86 in Black River. Still by 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, gusts over 90 miles an hour. And then by the time we get to noontime Tuesday, those gusts still strong, but they're starting to come down. 50, 60 mile per hour gusts, so still pretty strong winds. But even at this moment in time, it may be quieting down a bit outside, but it's not a reason to head outdoors and see what's going on because so much, destruction has been done. Buildings have been damaged. Trees are on their last leg. So even the smallest of wind gusts could make a tree fall down, have, parts of roofs being blown off. Even though those winds aren't as strong as what they were, there's still a lot of damage. They're holding on their last leg. So still gusts 40 miles an hour could cause things to come crumbling down. By the time we get into 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, gusts still 30 to 40, close to 50 miles an hour. And then Tuesday night and especially into Wednesday, finally seeing those wind gusts coming down. That was the graph model for the Futurecast and the Futurecast wind speeds. This is the European model, pretty similar with timing. Landfall early Tuesday morning on the west side of the island, right around Black River and Savannah. Kingston over towards the east of the eye, making landfall early Tuesday. And then by the time we get into late Tuesday morning, we're seeing the hurricane move off to the northern parts of the island. And then another landfall in Cuba, heading into late Tuesday, early Wednesday, around Santiago de Cuba, bringing them some heavy rain, very gusty winds, possibly another major hurricane landfall as a Category 3. And then it moves off towards the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos. So we have a lot of people in the path of this very strong hurricane. So the Bahamas and the Turks are also going to be affected by this storm, not only with winds, but heavy rain and storm surge as well. And then by the time we get into late Wednesday and Thursday, it pushes out to sea. Here's a look at the Futurecast winds with the Euro. It's pretty much in agreement, in alignment with the graph model, seeing the strongest of winds on the west side of the island here. Gusts up to 50 to close to 55 miles an hour in Bull, Savannah to Mandeville around 2 o'clock Monday afternoon. And then by the time we get into our Monday evening, those gusts still starting to come up across the island. 50, 60 mile per hour gusts early Tuesday morning as the ice starts to come ashore. And then here we go, 6 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, Kingston up to 60 mile per hour gusts, 79 in Mandeville, 127 mile per hour gusts in Black River, 82 in Savannah, 96 in Cambridge, 84 in Montego Bay. And they continue to go up. We could see gusts in Montego Bay well over 100 miles an hour early Tuesday morning, 102 in Discovery Bay, 89 in Ocho Rio, getting up to 73 mile per hour gusts in Kingston heading into Tuesday morning. This is around 9 o'clock, 90 in Mandeville, 81 in Maypen. And even throughout the morning, these gusts very strong. Throughout the island, we're seeing gusts 60 to close to 100 miles an hour. And then by the time we get to noon, 1 o'clock, they start to come down a bit, still calming down, but still 40 to 60 miles an hour. And then heading into late Tuesday and into Wednesday, they really start to drop. This is Wednesday morning. Gusts have dropped significantly, 15 to 20 miles an hour. But when you get this extreme wind, and especially the onshore flow, you get storm surge, unfortunately. And storm surge is created when strong winds and low pressure push ocean water onto land. Now, this is just, a graphic simulation. There's no hurricane in Louisiana or the Gulf Coast, but this is just giving you an idea of what happens and why storm surge is caused. It's caused because you have the counterclockwise spin of these winds, you have the low pressure, and these winds are pushing all of this water ashore, and that's where you're getting that storm surge. And it could be especially worse during high tide. Now, for Jamaica, as a Category 4 storm, very strong winds close to a Category 5, could possibly see up to 12 feet of storm surge. So that's the height of a one-story home. So not only do you have to worry about if you're close to the coast, so not only do you have to worry about the torrential rainfall, mudslides from those very high mountains, the extreme winds, but the storm surge that could be extremely, extremely dangerous, up to 12 feet, which is, again, the height of a one-story home, a one-story building. So a lot of devastating things coming out of Hurricane Melissa. Let's take a look at the future winds throughout the region in the Caribbean. So we have those very strong winds in Jamaica heading into Tuesday, but then we're going to see those gusts coming up for Cuba and also the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos as well. This is 6:45 Monday. Light winds pretty much across the region. They're picking up for Bermuda, but by the time we get into Tuesday evening, we're starting to see Melissa getting closer to Cuba. So we're seeing gusts 70, 75 miles an hour. Santiago de Cuba, around 72 mile per hour gusts. And those continue to go up. Northern Cuba, about 80 mile per hour gusts. Duncantown, looking at 80 miles per hour as well. And then starting to come up for the Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas, 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. And then look at Clarencetown. This is Wednesday morning. This is what could possibly be a Category 2 storm. Could it be stronger as it gets closer to this region? That's still a possibility, but the National Hurricane Center saying as it goes through this region, it's likely going to be a Category 2, but those wind gusts could exceed, of course, over 100 miles an hour. 106 in Clarencetown, 105 in Snug Corner, 64 in Pirates Well, 43 in Cockburntown and the Turks and Caicos, 73 mile per hour gusts in Duncantown. This is again 6:45 Wednesday morning, and they stay gusty throughout the morning. 10 o'clock, 90 in Snug Corner, and then even by the time we get into the afternoon, still 40, close to 60 mile per hour gusts. And then we see Melissa going off towards the north and the east, and those wind speeds start to come down. Here's a look at the forecast rainfall over the next couple of days. This is through Wednesday evening. And again, 10 to 15, close to 20 inches of rain across the island, close to a foot in Kingston, 18 inches in Morant Bay, Ocho Rio 6 inches, 11.5 in Falmouth, Jamaica here, Mandeville 15 inches of rain, and again a very mountainous region. The highest peak in Jamaica is about 7,400 feet. You have other mountain areas that are 4, 5, 6, 7,000 feet. So you're getting all of this rain coming down the mountain. It's getting into the valleys. It's flooding the valleys, but it's also loosening up that soil. It's causing landslides, which are also very destructive and dangerous. So, of course, Melissa is going to cause a lot of issues, unfortunately, for the island of Jamaica over the next couple of days. But we could also see some landslides here in Cuba as well, another very mountainous region. Peaks even higher than what's in Jamaica, up to about 10 inches in Santiago de Cuba, and a little bit less here for the Turks and the Bahamas as well. But they'll still see some very, very gusty winds. Les Cayes in Haiti, about 9.3 more inches of additional rain on top of what we've already seen. And we've already seen some flooding issues in Haiti and the Dominican Republic over the last couple of days from Melissa. Here's a look at a key message from the National Hurricane Center talking about Jamaica. This is kind of what I've been talking about, over the last 17 minutes or so, kind of smushed into a paragraph. And they're saying, seek shelter now. Damaging winds and heavy rainfall today and on Monday will lead to catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides before the strongest winds arrive Monday night and Tuesday morning. Extensive infrastructural damage, long-duration power and communication outages, and isolation of communities are expected. Life-threatening storm surge is likely along portions of the southern coast Monday night and Tuesday morning. So that's the message from the National Hurricane Center. Just a very, of course, damaging, dangerous situation for Jamaica over the coming days. So you're going to want to make sure you have a plan ready to go. Time is ticking. The storm is, even though it's moving slowly, it's going to get there. Monday night into Tuesday, that's when you're going to be seeing the strongest winds, extreme rainfall, flooding, storm surge. You're going to want to make sure your phone is charged before your power goes out. Maybe you have one of those boxes that you could charge as well. So when your power does go out, you have a power source. So you could plug your phone into that. You want to make sure you have plenty of water, non-perishable food items, and even plastic bags. Plastic bags can help keep your clothes or your phones, any identification, anything you need dry, away from any of the flooding, the rainfall, because you don't want to go days and days without power and have, wet clothes. You want to make sure you're as comfortable as possible, in situations like this. You're going to want to check on your neighbors, of course, relocate if needed, and do any home preparations. But again, time is running out, and it's running out rather quickly. Here's a look at a website for shelters. If you were thinking about, moving from your home, you weren't sure where to go, there are about 800 shelters through the island of Jamaica. There's a map here. This is www.odpem.org.jm/shelters. It shows a map and a list of all the hurricane shelters around Jamaica, over 800. There's a lot. So there's likely one near you that you could go to if that is needed. But again, that's just something that you're going to have to come up with soon in your plan, because again, Monday night into Tuesday, that's when we'll be seeing the most devastating effects. Coming up here on Hurricane Hub Live, we're going to take a look at our Hurricane Hub Live trivia, and that's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Hurricane Hub Live. Let's take a look at our trivia question for this evening. Here it is. How often are hurricane names reused? Is it every 3 years, every 6 years, every 8 years, or is it every 10 years? Well, the answer is B, every 6 years. We reuse a list of names unless it was retired from it being an extremely devastating storm. Then that name is retired and a new name is put in its place. I appreciate you joining me tonight. Make sure to join us here for Hurricane Hub Live every day at 8 p.m. We'll be back here again tomorrow night, Monday, and I appreciate you joining me tonight. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening.